All right, so we're back. This year for Halloween, we're going to play through Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets because I think that's Halloween, because there are ghosts and witches and monsters, right?
And attic goblins or whatever he is.
Right. So a lot of this first one's going to be set up of the story, and you're going to see a lot that follows the path of the books or the movie, which is good, and because it's really like playing the movie to me.
Sort of. They in the intro here, they kind of combine some different features. They make it look like he's already got those bars on his window, and then he meets Dobby, but the bars go on his window because of Dobby. So
right, you're right. They blend a lot of the stuff together to try and move this along quicker.
Yeah, to really jumpstart it.
But that, it makes it feel fine. And like most people that have never seen this is kind of like an RPG. The first two Game Boy games, Game Boy Color games, and the third Game Boy Advance game, they're kind of like light versions of playing Final Fantasy or something. So there's a story to follow, and then it's kind of that turn-based, attack stuff with weapons or magic. But this is all pretty much magic in the Harry Potter world. Mm-hmm. But then there's also items you can get, and then there's these things like cards, wizard cards you can collect that do other things, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So
they're about to escape from Privet Drive. They'll introduce the cards in just a second here when he tells him not to forget everything he needs to bring for school, his folio.
He tells him not to forget to bring that because and you just got to gather all your items before you can take off, or Ron's just going to keep saying you can't leave yet.
Yeah.
So he gets all his important stuff. And I'm guessing you're going to use things like Hedwig later because you have to get him, and he's part of your inventory eventually.
Right.
And so far, from what I've seen with the, I don't know what you'd call these, setting up the in-between scenes or
the
cutscenes or whatnot, they do a good job. They don't just skip over; they actually show a little bit. So
there's the burrow.
That's how it happens, right?
Yeah.
They come and rescue him, and unlike the movie and the book is accurate, where the Weasleys all are there, right? The
twins and Ron, they all go.
Right.
I mean, this was pretty faithful.
Right. They get in trouble.
Yeah.
Kind of mad.
Kind of a bit of an abridged thing, but does allude to Ron's father's fascination with non-magical items, and Ginny having a touch of a crush on Harry, and so they put all those things into this little scene without pulling everything from the books in.
Right, and the gameplay really doesn't start until after this first day ends, where they get to, what's the Weasley place called?
The Burrow.
The Burrow.
Yeah.
So they're about to wrap up the night, and then Harry's allowed to, we could explore right now, but it's better just to wrap up the day and get on to the next day, where you can progress into the not so much the story, but into the gameplay.
I think that was a quick introduction of Percy, the other older brother that's still at home.
Oh, that was supposed to be Percy, yeah.
It's a twin, so...
Right.
The ghoul. He's a ghoul in the attic. In their attic.
So, we're just showing here that you can, while you're exploring, there's some monsters that you can encounter, and you can avoid them if you want. And also, if you are checking every piece of furniture and painting and stuff like that, there's usually either an item in every room. Sometimes there's two. Sometimes there's a wizard card. You can see Ron just gave him a multi-attack one.
It was a card attack combo,
which those can do certain, bigger damage than just your magic will do. But the magic in this is like you get level 1, and then you've got to level up by fighting monsters, as you can see here. It takes some time to level up.
Also, fighting the monsters is how you level up for your your strength and your magic points.
Yep.
Or your stamina and your magic points, and those increase. But the spells level up based on how frequently you use them. So the more frequently you use the Uno, you will get the second level in the Duo.
That's how that works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then of course, when you start to run out of magic points, you have to be very strategic in which spells you're using, because you'll eat up your points. But also, some spells don't work against certain monsters, and others do. Sometimes nothing seems to work against them. So, it does have a little bit of strategic thinking involved in that,
right?
And planning.
So this is kind of the thing where they do these little mini games that don't really seem to matter much. Like right now, they're going to be going after the garden
gnomes. So yeah, and this is true in the book. She does ask them to go out and de-gnome the garden. They have to.
This is kind of like right here. It's kind of like a whack-a-mole thing where you get there and push the button and you pick them up and throw them.
Yes.
But it didn't really amount to anything. Then there was the next part here where you just kind of see how far you can chuck them, and you're playing against Ron.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it really matters, because I played this the day before just to test it, and I beat Ron, but I didn't get anything for it. So I don't know if these matter that much, but I imagine if you do well enough, you may get like a special card or something.
Yeah, we didn't do well enough to find out, evidently.
No.
If that's the case.
So that's probably what they are. But there's all these little mini things that you don't even need to do to get the game done. This is another one where, and we might not show all these as we go forward. We might show more of the actual game progress of just the battles and stuff. But this is another one where there was a mini quest, and when you complete a mini quest, you get something. And I'm wondering if these are more special cards that might be more beneficial to certain moves later, other than just finding them behind furniture.
So now they're going to travel, and Flu Powder this is mostly faithful, this scenario, to the book, that you throw the fire in the fireplace and then say where you want to go, and it just takes you to a fireplace at that location.
And I think probably most people that are watching this have at least seen the movies.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to be very familiar with the storyline, but that doesn't make it any less fun to play, because it does change up just a slight bit from maybe the book or the movies.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be like 80 to 90% the same.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it's not fun to play through anyway, because if you like these kind of games that are kind of like Final Fantasy, and this one's not difficult, so you're not going to have a hard time, but you're going to be able to feel like you're part of the movie or the book by actually engaging in this.
Yeah, introducing his nemesis for the first time in this one, the father of Draco coming into play in this. I mean, he did end up in Borgin and Burke's, which was true. The little hiding thing is kind of.
Yeah, he said the directions wrong by accident in this one, a little different, but it sent him to the wrong place. And again, fortunately, he gets found by Hagrid.
Yeah.
Now, and I've cut out the gameplay where we're just battling monsters and leveling up. Before that, we went around the house and fought some monsters. Well, they weren't monsters; they were pretty much household utensils at their place.
There were fans and toasters and whisks and stuff.
Yeah, so there'll be a different set here, and they're just about everywhere. They're in dangerous places, and they're in places that aren't so dangerous. And if you're very careful, you can pretty much avoid everything, but you don't want to do that because you want to level up, because that's what's going to help you, get through the game easier and not have to just keep repeating battles.
Yeah.
I mean, you can fight something 10 times and you might get lucky and get through it, but then the next battle after that might be too hard when you get a boss. And again, if there's something you need to do and you need to find the boss character usually looks different than the little minion battles or whatever you want to call those.
Right.
And I think you'll see here in a moment what I'm talking about. We'll explain it a little more.
Yeah, so this was a little bit different. I mean, Harry does go get money. He's buddies with the whole family in the book, so he can see inside their vault, and then they can all see inside his.
Right. So when you encounter something large like that, they're kind of like speckled blobs or so. I don't know what they are. They're clouds or something.
I look at them like they're
A little magic cloud.
The every flavor jelly beans, you know, like they just kind of resemble jelly beans to me.
So this was the first boss we had to get through because we have to get to our vaults.
We're trying to get to our vault. We can't get beyond.
And usually we have to get somewhere. There's missions that you'll have when you push the start button to get the sub menu. So we have to get through this guy first before we're going to be able to get to our vaults. And obviously, you can tell by that hit right there. I mean, he just crushed us immediately.
Yeah.
So as we walked around Diagon Alley, we popped into some of the stores, and they have different things. Some people won't even sell stuff to you, but this was the Quidditch gear store, I guess.
And they had different items that you could purchase that help you level up certain aspects of your...
They enhance
protection.
Your maybe... Was agility even one of them? I don't know, there's different
Strength
things.
and defense. And...
Yeah. So you buy different items, and you'll see here in a moment that you can equip them on your body, kind of like in any game like Final Fantasy or something like that. So you go into the sub-menus, and you can see our quests were right there that explained what we had to do. So, you know, it's not like you can just skip doing some of this stuff. You have to progress the game. You've got to do, like, battle these monsters and stuff to get to the next task. So here we are where you've got different areas. It highlights where it was at the hat and the shirt, and there's a magic ring too.
Yeah, so strength, defense, agility, magic, strength, and magic defense.
You bought this, and now putting this on will upgrade our defense by 1.
Yeah. Which wasn't anywhere near enough, which is why we had to go do more to get more
And
items.
then,
help protect us a little better.
Yeah, I cut out. We probably fought the knight 4 or 5 times before we get to the point where we're maybe strong enough. So that was a nice boost there, the robes, and we only put on a few things because we only had so much money, and you could battle more and get more money, but we figured if we get enough to get through this, there's probably going to be a place in the next level that we could buy better stuff. And I don't know yet if when you exchange items on this yet, or if we got to sell them back, if we get like half the value back. So you don't want to waste your money if you don't need to.
Yeah, in this place, I thought I was going to get something really special if I did the task of gathering all the frogs for her.
Yeah, what was this place? It was...
It's the pet.
Like the pet place?
I can't think
where
of
people
what
get
they call
frogs
it.
or owls
like
or cats
the
or
menagerie or whatever it is.
And she needed you to get the frogs that got loose.
The frogs had broken out, so it was collect them and get something.
And there were a lot of them.
There were 5.
Oh, 5.
And the real benefit beyond the...
See, and we don't know yet. We don't know what we gave her all the toads, and we got another famous wizard card. And again, maybe these ones that are part of the tasks are more valuable than just ones we find randomly behind furniture.
We'll have to see as time progresses how our folios fill up. And
we weren't doing well against the knight still, so we were like, we got to figure out what these things do. And it shows you laid out here what kind of protection these things will give us if we use them in a battle. And this is just the standard, like a single, right? So I'm not sure if we can use these individually.
This just kind of tells you who the characters are and what their background is.
Right. And those things are important because also when you use some of these things against like the bosses, you can do, what was the spell to find out what their weaknesses are?
Oh, I don't remember what it was called. It was the first thing, but...
Right, there's a spell you can do on the monsters or the bosses, and it'll tell you what their weaknesses are, or what their strengths are, what you can't use against them.
Yeah, what spells they're resistant to.
Right.
So, we did the task for her, and it helped us level up some more, so...
Yeah, and then we continued to level up. There was a place in Diagon Alley that had a healing place, so if you ever died, you'd get sent right back to the healing place, so we could heal up, or we just kind of battled a few times. If we got a little low, we'd go to the healing place. We'd get to get healed for free instead of using all the stuff we've accumulated, like the pasties. What are they?
Pasties.
Yeah. Not pasties.
Pasties.
And
the beans.
and there's also the potions.
Yeah.
So there's stuff that you can take that'll give you more life back, and there's stuff you can take that'll give you more magic back if you're in the middle of a battle. And so now we're looking at the triplicus stuff, because these are the things that are pretty powerful.
Yeah, so by bringing the right combination together, it gives you an edge and a different move option than just casting a spell when you're in battle. So, Inform Us, that's what the spell is. Inform Us. And it seems as though that it keeps track of all those in the book on the right end of that. So if you come across someone you can't remember what it was, you don't have to recast Inform Us and waste your spell. You can just go into, or your turn, using that spell, you can go into the book.
Right.
But the knight was a special case in that none of the spells we currently had would really do any significant damage.
I mean, I think we had
against
leveled up enough to maybe get through this battle without this, but this thing we had discovered in a battle before was pretty powerful, so we decided to start with it and get a good hit on him. And you can see like how powerful this is.
Yeah, and with some of the enemies in these games, that's what happens is if once you get that first good hit and get them from green down to yellow, other things have a bigger impact because they're weakened.
Right, and we can see here that Ron still has level 1, right?
Yeah.
Of this, and I think, I don't know, Harry didn't have level 2. Harry had level 2 on a different one, right?
Yeah,
It's okay.
Yeah,
I mean, it's one of the things, but I kind of went to the end of this so you could see that we, had more than enough to defeat him this time.
The other thing is, even if you have a spell available to you, like you've leveled up, if you don't have enough points, it will gray back out.
Yeah,
again.
if you don't have the magic points, you can't.
Because it knows you can't purchase it. So.
Well, and that's part of the reason I thought
it
it was worth trying that thing at first, because we don't use any magic points, do we, with it?
It's just your turn. You don't use any. You don't use
loot
magic
that cards.
To do it, no.
Right, so that's really beneficial to get a good hit on somebody first. And then there was another one that was supposed to heal us when we got hit, but we couldn't use it against that guy.
Yeah.
Because we were like, oh, if he keeps healing us, because there was one hit he would do on us that would take like 3 hits in a row, and he'd just wipe you out.
Yeah, so we thought that would be a brilliant one to use, because then we wouldn't have to waste any of our other items.
Right, but clearly he was not, or he had some protection against that. So you can't use everything all the time. So you do have to learn the enemies.
Yeah.
So now we're just going through part of the story more of just getting in there and finding out.
We're going to collect our money that we need to take back to school with us and buy all our school books.
Yeah, Hagrid had given us that key.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just a walk in the park to get through there. There were monsters.
Yes, and until we beat the knight and got to our vault, we couldn't really do anything. There was no other option for progressing the story. So.
Right.
It's again fairly faithful to the book in how it represents these conversations and aspects of it.
So now we got money, we can go and buy our supplies for school.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a is this just the bookstore? Does that have a name?
Yeah, the Flourish and Blots is the bookstore.
So we went there, and
this is where we're
encountering
a couple of big scenes that set up this whole book happen in here. First is Gilderoy Lockhart, right? Their new teacher for this year.
Yeah, we'll see him in a second, because he was hanging out there having this big fancy.
Yes, he's there for a big book signing.
Right.
And he's very full of himself.
Yes, and he latches on to Harry because that just
he's famous.
It's publicity for him.
He's a no publicity is bad publicity. There's no such thing as bad publicity kind of person, and thinks an awful lot of himself. Yeah. I think they say somewhere in here like every book that they're buying practically for the school year is by him, because he's written so many books. And
I don't know if it was captured in here, but he had said that along the way.
Yeah. And then this other encounter with Draco and his father also helps set up the remainder of the story. But it's Flourish and Blots plays a centerpiece in this one and then in the next one. Although the movie altered it in the third movie. But
So now we're just speaking to him and Gilderoy for a quick moment, and I think we head off and buy our books now. Oh no, we encounter...
Yeah, first the encounter with the Malfoys again. Yeah. And, it seems to be the...
That's right. This is a key moment in the plot of the whole film. So if no one's seen the film or the book before, you will have to look back to this moment to understand what happened. This very moment.
And Mr. Weasley, this is like one of the only times in the whole series that you see him get upset. Is dealing with Lucius Malfoy. So
right, where he actually doesn't have fear.
Yeah, he's just very angry at the type of person he is. So.
Especially when they go after his family.
Yeah,
they're always picking on the Weasleys for being poor. There's a little clue right there for anybody.
So now it's time to
and I'm guessing,
buy my books and head for Hogwarts.
Yeah, I'm guessing as we progress past this first couple of days here, we might have a little more adventure and a little less story. I mean, obviously they're going to do this in like chapters, where there'll be certain stories and certain events we got to go through. And I don't perceive this as being a difficult game. It's a very fun game, and this is one of those games where if you're interested in getting into some sort of role-playing games or something like that, this would be an entry level for anybody, because if they like the movies and the books and they never really played a game before, this is not going to be super difficult. And even if you're not good at it, over time you'll succeed against monsters as you level up naturally. So we're just about at the end of this, and I think everyone knows we're stuck, and we'll see what we're going to have to do to get to the train in the next episode. So we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.